So, welcome to the Teach Tuesday video. We're here with Professor Heidi Fencl from the Physics Department to talk about how to make a good instructional video. So, thank you for being with us, Heidi. The first question I have for you, I think we'll start with some logistical questions.
Sounds good.
Is how do you decide what is a video-worthy topic?
Yeah, so I've actually gone to a flipped course, so I do a fair amount of videos in my lectures. And so I've taken in the process of flipping the course and broken down my learning objectives a lot. So I take a look, and for me, what's a video-worthy lecture is one that's a lower level learning objective, and rather than, and then we put the higher level and the more important stuff, the more difficult stuff in class. I will say also that I teach science, so students expect there to be lectures. So I tend to do lectures on pretty much everything, even if it's fairly basic, but then I might supplement it. So it's kind of a two-part answer. I may supplement the video or the lecture that I take with another video if there's some great, physical activity that you can see, show somebody in their race car or something like that I can't do.
Okay. Interesting. So you do videos sort of supplement your face-to-face lectures.
Yes.
And so how do you sort of plan the interplay between those two things when you're making your video?
Yeah, I plan it out way in advance. So I think of each week as a lesson and sort of block out what's going to be in class. So we have class meetings on Monday and on Thursday, and then lab on Tuesday. So I will block out and take the very basic, definitions, intro material, tape that for before Monday, then we use that Monday. And then I will, after lab, we'll synthesize things together with some taped lectures and then come back into that on Thursday.
Oh. So do you actually do like a storyboard for each video, or do you have like a formula you follow or something?
I've been teaching so long that my notes are largely in my head. So the shorter ones and the really basic ones, I don't storyboard, I talk. But I actually storyboard them more for taping than I do for live lectures, because you don't want to be flipping around and trying to decide what you're going to say. So a lot of the lectures I do will have slides for the students, either handwritten or PowerPoint, and I'll talk a little corner down on the side, and so those I storyboard out by doing the slides and having that prepared in advance. So those are the ones that take more planning for me.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I mean, one thing I've noticed about your videos is that they're all kind of the same length.
Yes.
Yeah. So how do you manage that so that, you don't have that bloat where videos get really long, or that some of them are really short? But mostly people go long.
Right. I made the commitment to try to keep them to 10 minutes, so 10 minutes or less. They say attention span is 20 minutes, or 2 minutes per year of age up to a maximum of 20 minutes. But I think it's probably gotten shorter. And certainly if students are watching from home, you've got other things around. So I sort of think of 10 minutes as the time that I can expect a student to focus on a video at home. And so I choose what goes into it based on time. And so when I block out and say what I'm going to lecture about, I might have 4 or 5 learning objectives. And so I try to keep the videos to 1 or 2. So there will be, in each week, multiple short lectures, in each one targeting 1 or 2 of the objectives so that I can keep them short and targeted.
Interesting. And have students given you any feedback about how they consume your videos? Do they watch them on their phones? Do they watch them on their computers? Are they like cooking supper?
Right.
How do they
I encourage them to take notes, to write them and take notes. So some students will say that they like them because they can rewind, they can pause them. So some students are definitely giving feedback that they watch them in sort of a controlled and careful environment. I suspect a lot of them don't, but I don't know that for a fact. But within class, most of the students are using their phones. And so most of them are accessing course material in class on their phone.
Interesting.
So that's my guess.
And then do you sort of do a check for understanding in class then too, from the videos?
Yeah, I check before.
Okay.
So since I'm doing lower level objectives with the videos, I have low level kind of reading type quizzes on T2L or on the campus. So I do pre-class quizzes, and then we use what was on the video in class. And that's another thing I sort of made the commitment to, with the advice of the learning technology folks, is not to take class time to go back and redo what was done in the video. So the expectation is you done the videos, you've learned from them, you've taken the quiz showing you learned from them, now we're ready to go in class.
Okay.
So that's part of it as well.
Yeah. So then your goals in creating the videos then are sort of to give students a foundation of knowledge, and what other goals do you have for the videos, and so how do you sort of bake those goals in?
You know, the little goals, our students will say, oh, it'd be nice if videos were online or lectures were online so I could see them again. So there are some little goals in with that, but the big one is to free class time. So we have this sort of culture in science, and probably because the textbooks are so dense, right? They're not easy reading. So we have the culture that textbooks are a reference and that information is provided more in class. So we don't have a huge culture in these classes where students come in prepared. And so if you want time to get into the difficult stuff and to maybe do some active learning around what's hard, if you're going to lecture the basic content first, then the important stuff never happens.
Okay.
So the motivation I had was to get the content delivery at the lower level out so that we had class time to do more difficult things.
So do you see the videos as a supplement to the textbook then, or do you see it as maybe even a replacement for the textbook? Or?
Some students do use it as a replacement. I see it in this is physics, and other disciplines have different norms. We get so excited about, oh, it relates to this, and it relates to this, and it relates to this, that within most of the textbooks, it's really hard to distinguish between what's the key idea and what's the applications that the author got excited about. So I see lecture as setting the file cabinet. These are the key drawers that you're going to file things in. Here are some main ideas. And then I see the textbook as adding other stuff to it if you want to go deeper.
Yeah.
But I think it's really hard from the textbook as a student to distinguish what are the main ideas I'm learning versus what are examples of how I apply those ideas.
Interesting. So do you see students when they're doing work in class that they will refer to your videos like on their phone or something like that?
They refer to their notes on the videos.
Okay.
And so for the most part, I encourage them to take notes and they refer back to those. I'm trying to think if I've seen, I have review sessions where they work, and there I've seen them refer back to videos, but generally it's just the notes that they do.
And do you prepare them to take notes on the videos? Or do you have a formula for how you want to do it? I should say a formula, but
actually,
a guide sheet or something?
So two things. So I have on my first week a little mini, actually from YouTube, it's not from me. I thought I'd go with someone younger that is pretty good about good ways to watch online videos. So I have that set up. But then each week in my course materials, I provide what I call a lesson summary form. And it's just kind of a way to annotate your notes. So it's what's the main idea, what's the elevator talk, what are the 2 or 3 key ideas, and then what do you need to be able to do, describe how, what do you need to memorize, describe what did you learn from the activities, what situations do you use the formulas in. So trying to get students to process the material in how you learn it and how you apply it rather than just the order it came in and rereading. So it's more of post-processing than a pre-processing.
That's interesting. Yeah, I bet those tips help students in their other classes, I imagine, right?
I made my daughter, I offered them to my daughter when she was in college, and she did use them across her classes. She said they were a pain. They take a while to do, but they were useful. And that's kind of the feedback I get too. Not everyone does it. And their feedback is, they are useful, but it takes a lot of work to do.
Interesting. Have students used the videos or they told you sort of unexpected things, or use them in ways you didn't anticipate?
As far as I know, not ways I didn't anticipate. I think they're using them pretty strictly with class, actually.
Okay.
But I guess
maybe they're referring to them later on in their future classes, or
right. Most of my students are pre-health science majors, and so they do carry. It depends on where they're going. So the physical therapists carry the torque forward, for example. Doctors, interestingly, will carry the electricity stuff more forward. So I get feedback from past students about the course and what they used, but not particularly citing the videos.
One question I had too, logistically, was how do you keep the videos evergreen, so that you don't include topical information, talk about maybe the Brewers being in the National Championship Series or something like that, like dated information? How do you,
the flippant answer is I teach stuff that was current 400 years ago. So that's the quick flippant answer. But I do actually, if there's something immediately relevant, I might tape a short lecture or short video that I only put up for this semester, and then I wouldn't then reuse it in future semesters.
You learn something about yourself and taping
yourself?
I
repeat a lot. I repeat a lot. In part of that, you're sort of taught in class too. Say what you're going to say it, say what you said. But sometimes I say it and say it and say it and then say what I said. And so I can definitely shorten myself up when students have the ability to pause me or rewind, and I don't need to say it each time because they aren't catching it live.
Then do you use the analytic capabilities?
I don't actually.
Check for drop-off
I don't.
rates? Okay.
So I do a mid-course survey and ask students what they're using, and then end of course, but I actually haven't used the analytics.
And what do you do, like, if you cough or the dog barks, or you're making a video and like someone knocks on your door and says, "Hey, Professor Fencl, I need help with my homework," or whatever. What do you do?
Right, so first of all, I put a post-it note on my door. But a big interruption, I stop and redo it. More likely, I've done something stupid. I get garbled in my words or something like that, and then I'll not save it and retape. But I also do tape at home, and so I have things there. My cat will come through, and part of my challenge, my course caps at 72 students. So part of the challenge is I've got this big group of people that I'm trying to connect with, and some of that is connection. So if the cat comes through, I'll introduce the cat. So it depends a little bit on if it's a distraction from the learning in a big way, or if it's just some little thing. In lecture, if something happened in the hall, you nod to it and go by. So if it is sort of just a personal, this is human, this is it, and doesn't take away from the learning, I leave it in. If it's a bigger interruption, I retape.
It kind of humanizes you too, as a person.
Yeah,
they
I
can
tend
kind of
to
relate
do
to you.
that.
Students have cats too.
Exactly, or dogs. We can talk about that. Good.
Yeah. So thanks to Professor Fencl for being here with us.
My pleasure.
I'm sure.
Was good.
Yeah. If you have other questions, you can feel free to talk to Heidi, I imagine. And
yeah, absolutely. I've learned a lot doing them, and thank you for your help on that as well. But it's been it's fun to do something different and learn a little bit too, actually.
Yeah. And so now Luke is going to show us a new tool that you have to make videos here at UW Green Bay called a Lightboard.
Hello. I'm actually going to show you the Lightboard, or demo it for you, by talking about something completely unrelated, which is the anatomy of flags. So if we think about a flagpole and where a flag comes off of it, that's how you would describe a chevron. So, at this point in a lecture like this, I might give my students an assignment where they had to go out and describe a flag of the world using these geometric flag terms. But how did I make this lecture to begin with? Well, I'm standing in front of what's called the Lightboard or learning glass. Oops. Or learning glass. Here at UWGB, and what that is essentially a large sheet of glass in a frame. Oops. Looks something like that, and it's lit with LEDs from the outside into the glass. And because of the nice properties of glass, when there's nothing on it, the light just goes straight through the glass, essentially. It kind of bounces off the surface within there, but doesn't go out to the camera. I'm standing on one side of the glass and writing on it. You'll notice that that's backwards. But it's backwards because I'm writing the right way. And so I'm writing the way that this little character is seeing it. And on the other side of the glass, is a camera. And it's filming me through the glass, writing the right way. So it'll look like to you right now probably that I'm left-handed, and you would assume based on this that I'm writing backwards. I'm actually right-handed and writing the correct way for me to see it. And once the camera records me, it flips the image around and saves it as a video. You'll see I'm looking off to the side because I have a little monitor there to see what I'm doing. I can know if I'm writing too far up or too far down, too far off to the side. But I can also just sort of see how it's laid out. I know that I have to stand right here so that you can see my face within this little box. All right. What's the benefit of doing this? Well, the learning science seems to suggest that students who see your face learn better than students who just hear your voice. There also seems to be some evidence that seeing things written in real time as you're saying them, as opposed to all of the text up on, for example, like a PowerPoint slide, helps retain that information a little bit better. So this sort of mashes those two things together, where students can see your face, they can see you writing and hear you talking in real time. And it sort of, because we only have so much real estate of glass here, helps you to chunk your videos, really plan ahead, keep them concise and on one topic. Here the anatomy of flags. I didn't talk too much about like the 6 rules of flag design or anything extra. You'll notice that this shirt is probably a little bit too light, maybe a little busy for the Lightboard. It can be a little distracting. So you want to wear more solid, dark colors. You might think that UWGB green would be a really good color to wear, and you'd be right. The problem is that if you wear a shirt with a graphic, because we have to flip the image in order for it to show up correctly to the students, anything that's printed on your shirt will be backwards. So a little Under Armour logo isn't going to be a problem because it's the same either way. But if you have Columbia or a big team logo, something like that, it's going to get flipped around. So if you really want to wear your UWGB gear, it's recommended, but you'll have to have it printed in reverse. So if you want to come down, give the Lightboard a try. Maybe you have a specific topic. You want to do sort of a flipped video for a topic that you always have to go over again, over and over in your classes. The advantage to these videos, since you are writing what you're saying when you're saying it, is students can go back, if you have it on Kaltura or YouTube, they can scrub ahead to when you're talking about, you know, say the bends or the saltire or something like that, and they can watch that particular part of the video again. If you want to come down, take a look at it, send us an email at catl@uwgb.edu. Sorry about the squeaking there. And we'll set up a time. We can go over some of the hardware, how it works sort of mechanically and technically, and then set you loose, or I can help you out and make your video. So I hope that what Heidi and Todd had to say gave you some good ideas, and maybe the Lightboard is the way to implement them for you. So send us an email, stop by, let us know. Thanks for watching.